Morning, welcome back to Bars Farms. Today we're about to get ready to roll in with the 8245R. Right now we're just checking the oil, which is good to know. But we're gonna get the paper towel and check it one more time, and I'll see y'all when we get in the tractor. So we're gonna go ahead and get her started up, get her cranked warming up, and I'll add some def to it. Grabbing a box of stuff here in the shop. Not easy to do one-handed, but we're in the shop here. But grabbing this box of def, gonna go fill up the tractor and get ready to go to the field. Well, we got the box of def thrown away, and it's time to get rolling down the road with the tractor.
Man, I always had stories about the city life and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out, see what it's all about. But the traffic was fast and the money was slow. The people I met you never get to know. I kinda miss this place I used to live back home. 'Cause up here it's breakneck, paycheck, rat race, what's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. My friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, and you can keep your 9 to 5. Happy with the simple life.
Well, Dad just took me back to my pickup, but we're back at the field now. And made one pass. Looks pretty good. Still quite a bit of moisture. It's mulling up. Or you can make it into a ball, but pretty good soil conditions if you ask me. But hard to open the door when the wind's blowing against it. Alright, we're back in the old captain's seat. But we're gonna get rolling here with the 8345R on the rip ball. But doing a good job in this field. The only bad thing about this field is there's really bad pivot ruts. This is my grandpa's field. We call this farm, or we call it Bond's Pivot, but the kind of the farm it's on is Dewards. There's a Dewards strip across the road, and then we also have Dewards Pivot. Or actually, no, it's Jarbo's Pivot. So we call this Dewards Pivot or Bonds. But running the ripper, doing a good job. Doing about 1,500 to 1,600 RPM, going about 5.8 right now. But it's doing a good job. This is a it's a quarter miler pivot. and I believe the acres on it is, I'd like to say it's 100 and probably about 140, 135 with the corners. I'm pretty sure a quarter miler pivot, which takes up a half section. Under the pivot, like the circle, it's 120 acres. With the corners on this field, it's 135. With the one we were working in last video, it was 160, but there was really, really big corners on that. So we're gonna hammer down on this field and see y'all when something interesting happens. Morning, welcome back to Boris Farms. It's the second day in this video. It's March 13th, I believe. But we're here with the disc ripper and the 8345R. Yesterday, we got that half ripped, and today we're gonna get the other half of this pivot ripped. Might take a little bit longer because there's a waterway in the middle of it, and we can't go through it, gotta go around it, so. But we're gonna get all the fluids checked in this, and it looks like that they already got it dieseled up. Looks moist right there, but hopefully it should be good to go. I'm gonna get the hydraulic oil and the motor oil checked, and then I also have a gallon to add for the hydraulic oil. We're rolling here. You can see where we got plowed yesterday. Now we're hopped on the other side of the pivot here, ripping. But this field isn't too rough, but the other side was kind of bad because of the pivot ruts. But this side, I mean, you can't really see anything. But we're rolling now. Gonna probably have to add some def later today, but we're rolling here, and hopefully we can get this field knocked out by tonight, get moved to the next field, and the next field we're going to is just half a pivot, not the corners. So only 60 acres, so we should be able to get that knocked out in about 6 hours, maybe a little bit longer. We're getting 9.8 acres an hour, and we're burning 10.7 gallons of diesel an hour. But we're rolling here. Ripper's doing a nice job, but I'll see y'all when something interesting happens. Well, we're running here, probably close to halfway down the field now, if there wasn't this waterway here. You can kind of see it. We'll be able to see it better in a second, but we're rolling here with the ripper. But there's the waterway, and the pivot actually walks across it. There's like land bridges that go over the waterway. So the pivot will walk across it, and there's a culvert under every dill. But we're rolling here. There's the waterway. But not a whole lot going on right now. Just currently trying to work on my driver's ed right now. Well, on the tractor, so I can at least get a little bit of stuff done. But we're ripping here, still getting 9.8 acres an hour done. But doing a good job, and that's kind of where we're at. Here's the old waterway, but we're ripping around it here. When it's wet, there's normally crawdad in here. You can see their big mounds. But running the ripper here, doing a good job. But This waterway has like gates that we can open and lower if we want to have water in certain sections. But we used to also pump water, or sometimes we put a floating pump in here and pump water out of it. I haven't did that in a while just because we really haven't had the need to or had a ton of water around. We do that on a couple of our farms just where we have water tanks where it's just easy to set up. But this is a pretty decent watered farm for our area. It's one of my grandpa's best. It probably is the best actually. But right across the road here, my grandpa has 2 drips on the other side of the road, like drip irrigation. And it was probably our best performing farm this year, cotton wise. Either that or my dad's big pivot. But he made a heck of a cotton crop on the drips for what we had this year. But here's the old farmstead. This was, I believe, like our cousin's farmstead, but there used to be a couple barns and stuff, but we tore them down this winter, or last winter. We dug a hole and pushed them in there with a bulldozer, and then burned it all and closed the hole again. And then we also scrapped a lot of the metal around here. But here's kind of the old farmstead. And then right next to it, there's a pasture with terraces that's super fun to ride dirt bikes on. They're terraces that are really close together, and you can get quite a bit of air off of them. But here's kind of part of my family, not my immediate family, but people, our kinfolk. This was their farmstead here. But we're gonna keep rolling on here in the disc gripper, and yep, turn around right here with the disc gripper. But there's the waterway behind me. I kind of like this farm just because it's unique. We don't really have any waterways on our other farms, at least not that I can think of off the top of my head. But it's always fun to kind of have a unique field. It changes it up from a nice, just squared field, which a lot of you guys, if all of y'all have is crazy fields, probably think I'm crazy for wanting a unique, odd-shaped field, because it's pretty nice having squared fields. But we're getting the disc gripper spun around right here. But yeah. So there's the spot where the pivot walks across, right there. But there's 1, 2, 3 spots where the pivot walks across. So 3 of the towers walk across, and I'm pretty sure it's a 7-tower pivot. So a 7-tower pivot like this is, I believe it's 7 or 8. I have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 spans, and which is 120 acres under the pivot. It's a 1/4 mile long. Is how long the pivot is, so it goes in a circle of a 1/2 mile. So there's 120 acres under the pivot, and then there's 40 acres worth of corners on this field, so there's 160 acres. Well, I guess not counting the waterway, so a little, probably like 155, 150 acres on this field, a little bit less, but so that's kind of how pivots work, like how the acres works. And normally we farm them in circles, but when like the silage crop, we planted it straight, and then the silage choppers, they cut them in a circle, and then they swath the hay in a circle on the corners. But normally we farm it in a circle, and we also farm the corners like in a circle, but we don't farm them together. Usually we plant the same crop, but a lot of times, like lately, corners, just the past few years, corners haven't, we really haven't harvested them just because lack of moisture and rain, so insurance has failed it. But it's kind of where we're at. But here's the farmstead. It's the old white farmhouse, and here's the pasture with the terraces that I like to ride my dirt bike in. But what the heck? There's a random box in the field. Huh. I guess I'll take it. I'm a little low on def.
Man, I always had stories about the city life and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out, see what it's all about. But the traffic was fast and the money was slow. The people I met you never get to know. I kinda miss this place I used to live back home. 'Cause up here it's breakneck, paycheck, rat race, what's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came.
It's a good thing I saved this wet one from after lunch. My hands are covered in def. It like started to crystallize on my hand. I don't know what that was about. But the supply drop was useful. Don't know how that box of def ended up in the field, but really helpful. It's not like Dad dropped it off or anything. Don't know what you're talking about. But I'm ready to get rolling again. I'm just trying to clean my hand off. It's like burns from all that def. Get back to rolling here, but well, we got the all the skips laid out now. We're filling back in, but we're slowly rolling here, going about 5.8 miles an hour. Still, the machine's showing 9.8 acres an hour. I feel like we might be getting a little more done than that. But Dad came and ran for a little bit while I was grabbing lunch. And I grabbed a box of def out of his I grabbed a box of def, put it in his pickup before I went and ate. And I completely forgot that it was even in there. So he like started to leave, and then he called me and said, "Hey, you got a supply drop on the turn row." And I turned around and looked, and I was like, sure enough, there was a box of def, which sure appreciate it, because I wouldn't be running for a whole lot longer without it. It's still, I could probably fit a half of a box in it, but tomorrow we'll have to fill it back up. But hopefully tomorrow's the last day we're running this ripper. Fingers crossed if we don't have any breakdowns, but we're rolling here. Just filling back in by the waterway right now. I'm probably gonna do one more round, and I'm gonna go back up to the top where it's a little bit drier, just so it doesn't ball up on me. But that's what we got going on. Well, we're on the last pass of doing end rows here, and we're done for the day. I'm gonna get it moved to the last field that we're gonna be using this tillage tool on. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and make sure to like and subscribe, and see y'all later.